G'day traders, welcome to the blog for Wednesday 15th of August. It's a very slow day today. It's actually known as typically one of, or the slowest day of the trading year. And we had a lot of European countries not trading because there's a bank holiday where they're located. Also obviously it was still in that European summer break and American summer break as well. So overall, quiet couple of weeks and pretty much just the quietest day of the week, and it pretty much showed and kept to that sort of form. But just carrying on as far as regardless of what happened today, just having a little bit of a look at what's happening on the longer term charts. We're still trying to push higher here. The markets came back and had some sort of pullback and tried to put some pressure on the downside a couple of days ago, but they're now putting some pressure back on these highs here. You can see on the daily chart, just to bring out the 15-minute chart. So here's the day we're talking about here. Here's the Wednesday. Going back a few days, remembering on Tuesday we had a really sharp projection off this support line, and from there we got underneath this 1403 level. So I've just got that mark because it's pretty much one of the most significant areas in the market at the moment. Seems to be a real sort of spot where the market's either above or below. You can see previously it was really sticking below it, got above it, from there got some power to push higher, then it pushed down off that trend line, got underneath the support line, then acted as resistance. It's holding it down. Coming up to the open of this market, just interesting to see how the market dealt around this area. It actually pushed straight through it, and this line, it just really dealt around this area here, and now you can see we're basically using it as support to push higher again. So certainly the market, the buyers' perspective, have squashed out some of these sellers that were trying to make a bit of a presence here, and they're coming back and putting some pressure back on these highs. You could pretty much add in a bit more of a trend line here. It's not a major significant area yet, but certainly something to keep a bit of an eye on. I'll just draw that in roughly for now, but it looks a little bit like that at the moment. And it'll be interesting seeing how that plays out leading into the opening of tonight's market. Got some trend lines back here. This one here is not real significant. It never really had much of an impact. This one certainly was at the time, so I'll keep on standing it through and see if we come back and touch it at any other stage. So that's the medium term markets. As far as what happened yesterday, not a great deal. There was some movement right at the beginning of the day, and that's what happens typically with these slow days. If you sort of break it down on the 1 minute chart here, there's some movement, not great movement, but then look at that, from 11 o'clock onwards, nothing at all to speak about, or as far as my trading plan's concerned anyway. There's very, very limited market action there. The only thing I would have potentially looked at is we pushed up higher. The markets came back. It really had some solid sellers at some stage here, but they bounced straight off the gap here and came back up like this. So it looked like these buyers were starting to get a little bit of momentum. They've come back again and had another go at the highs here. So this area here, the Nasdaq and the Russell sitting at the highs. Actually, the Nasdaq was making new highs here, so it looked like it could potentially drag the other markets up with it. So potentially an area to go higher and keep on breaking higher, but I guess the lack of volumes meant the markets just sort of pull back, again bounce off that support region around the gap, and then it's tried to go a little bit higher, but it's never really got up there, and it's really just stuck in within that tight range. So yeah, as far as an individual intraday basis, not a lot to talk about there, but keep an eye on those longer term 15-minute charts as far as a little bit more of an idea of what's happening or could potentially happen, and see if we can keep on building some pressure on a certain side. At the moment, certainly pressure's starting to form back with the buyers, and after getting rid of some of that selling pressure that we got about a day and a half ago. So that's a quick wrap up, and we'll be back on Thursday. Speak to you guys then.